Hey there, gang. Welcome back to Papa's Model Workshop. I'm Papa, and this is my workshop. So last week we were discussing bare metal foil, and I was working on Linda's Mustang, and I had already gotten the bare metal foil, mostly on the front windshield area here. And I had made a demonstration on camera for applying the bare metal foil over in this left-hand area here. And I went ahead and finished up the rest of it off camera. And I'll tell you, I think it came out really rather well. I'm very pleased with this. The problem with the bare metal foil the last couple of years is that it wasn't sticking, and this has been on here about a week now, and it's on there. I actually rather enjoyed working with it. Of the three options for doing chrome, there's chrome marker. You can tape it off and shoot this with an airbrush or bare metal foil. And out of the three, I'll tell you, I have to say that the bare metal foil, in the big picture of things, I think was probably the easiest to work with. And one reason in particular is if you're going to use the airbrush, you're going to have to tape all of this off with Tamiya tape. You'll have to see, there's your Tamiya tape. And even with the chrome marker, you know what? If you're going to really try to do it the right way, you still should probably tape it off, even when using the chrome marker. And of course, if you do it freehand without taping it off, then, invariably what's going to end up happening is you're going to get a little bit of a chrome marker in areas where you don't want it to be, which means you're going to have to go through a cleanup procedure. So all of those things considered, I really think that the bare metal foil goes on the easiest. Now, if you watched me put this bare metal foil on this side on camera, I'll tell you, and I mentioned this in the video last week, I'm standing at quite a distance because I have the camera between me and the car. And at the angle that I'm standing in relation to the car, so I can make it presentable to you on camera, it was just, it's clumsy and cumbersome to try to work on the bare metal foil like that. And in the end, it looked like it was clumsy and awkward to work with. And again, for the reasons I mentioned, it looked that way only on camera. But in reality, when I was off camera and I went and I did the rest of the car, and I was able to get down and get to work without the camera being between me and the car, it went on very smoothly. So if you are a bare metal foil fan and you got away from it because of the issues with it not sticking, I think I can officially proclaim, at least in my opinion, that bare metal foil is back, because this was really a joy to work with, actually. So let me go back here, okay, to the back here. We had a boo-boo alert, a major boo-boo alert. I have the grandchildren down here with me a lot of times on the weekends when I'm down here, and somebody got a hold of a scriber, okay? And scriber, if you don't know, if you're really brand new and you don't know what a scriber is, well, just look at how this thing is configured. And what this is designed to do is to get into areas like the door panel here, and you scratch in and make the panels or the panel lines around the doors or something like that deeper. And the way you make them deeper is this thing will actually scratch. Well, somebody got into the scriber, and I had ran upstairs for just a few minutes to do something, and when I came back, well, there was a big scratch mark here and here, and well, to say the least, I was a bit disappointed. That's an understatement. But anyway, I'll tell you what I did to overcome that. Now, your knee-jerk reaction sometimes is to start to sand out something like that, but sanding isn't really going to do a whole lot for you in that regard, because if you have a scratch in your finish, the scratch mark is actually recessed. So sanding isn't really going to help you a whole lot there. In a lot of instances, what you can do is you can use Tamiya putty or filler. All right. Lots of other putties and fillers. I just happen to have Tamiya here, but I didn't want to do that because the finish on this car really came out nice. So I didn't want to, put the putty in there, because then you would have had to have sanded down this whole thing. This car has been sitting here for a little while, so it's got a little bit of dust on it. And this car has not been polished yet. It's got the 2K clear on it, and it has not been polished yet, so it still needs to be polished. But if you use the putty, again, at that point you'll have to sand all of this down, and then you'll have to, essentially repaint this and re-clear it. And I didn't want to do that, again, because I'm really very pleased with this finish. So what I did do is I found a marker, all right, and this is an acrylic marker, and it was very, very close in color to what I have here on the Mustang. So I very carefully filled in the scratch marks, and they were right down to white bare plastic. All right, it was really an outstanding scratch. So I filled that in, and then I got, let me see, where is that? Okay. These are flannel squares. All right, it's very soft. And I actually went to Jo-Ann Fabrics and bought a great big piece of, I'm trying to do this on camera. I bought a great big piece of flannel, and I cut it up into these little squares. And these are great for polishing and so forth. And I took some Novice 2 after I filled in with this acrylic marker. Right, and Novice 2 will take out fine scratches and so forth. This was a little bit more than a fine scratch, but I put the marker in there, and I went over it with the Novice 2 and the flannel square, and I took some 2K clear. My 2K clear that I use is from Spray Gunner, and now this is going to sound a bit silly, I guess. And I went out on a limb. I didn't know if this was going to work or not. But I took a brush. All right, here we go. Nope, not that brush. I didn't use that brush. Which brush did I use? This brush. Okay. Took a brush, and I dipped it straight into the 2K clear, and I went over the area. And I let that dry, and then I went over it again with the flannel cloth, and I'll tell you, it looks like it pretty well worked. I mean, it looks like we got that scratch, and I got to tell you, you don't have a frame of reference because you didn't see it when I had the scratch in there. But this is like 97%. Okay, I'm just making up a percentage number. I don't know, but anyway, it's mostly gone. Okay, and if you get right down on top of this spot here and scrutinize it, yeah, you can maybe tell that there was some work done there. But in a general sense, that's pretty well fixed, and that's the way I went about doing it. The 2K clear on this little brush, using the marker that I felt was very close to the color, buffing it out with the flannel, and using some Novice 2, and all of that stuff combined, it seems to have worked. So anyway, I am pleased with that repair, and we're moving along. So let's look at something else here. I want to show you. Here we go. I want to show you the wheels. I'm moving up to the wheels now. And, if you get a standard chrome tree, okay, your chrome is all nice and shiny like that. But the thing with the chrome being nice and shiny like this, and this is just my opinion, okay? It looks a bit like a toy. It makes your build look toyish. Now, this is just something that I do. I try to add a degree of realism to my builds, which means I don't want to make it look all nice and shiny and new. When we're out on the road and we're driving and so forth, you know what? Your car gets a little grimy and dirty. So I try to incorporate that into most of my builds. That's why I will, grime up the underside. I haven't really gotten to that yet, but trust me, I'll grime this up. Even in the engine bay, I will put, oil stains and just make it look, a little bit dirty. Not terribly dirty, but just dirty enough to make it look like it's not a toy. So, having mentioned all of that, starting with something like this, which is really I'm not going to, don't look at this. I added panel liner to that, but up in here, these areas here have not had panel liner, and it's all bright and shiny and so forth. And that's the effect I'm trying to get rid of, that bright, shiny, toyish look. So what I do, or what I did, is, see, these are the wheels, and what I did to get rid of that bright shine here, let's compare. Okay, here we go. All right, what I did to get rid of that bright shine is I used Testors Dull Coat. Where is my Testors Dull Coat? I don't know where my Testors Dull Coat is. Oh, it's on the other side of the room at the build area. Okay, well, hang on, let me go grab that, because if you're not familiar with what that is, I want you to take a look at it. So hang on. Okay, back with Testors Dull Coat. All right, so I took this, shot it through the airbrush. I mixed it at a ratio of 1:1 with the leveling thinner, Mr. Color leveling thinner, 1:1, and I shot the wheels with that. Okay, and it took away that really bright, shiny look. I've got this light. Let me turn this light off. Let me see. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit more realistic with that light off. The light was still shining on there, but it looks more like an aluminum look now instead of that bright, shiny toy look. Okay, and let me see here. I've got another. Here we go. All right, now these also were shot. Move that in. Were shot with the Testors Dull Coat, and I added just a little bit of panel liner to that. All right, to give it a little bit of that, grimy look, and it also adds a little bit of depth. So now I'm very happy with this. This is what's going to end up going on the Mustang. Okay, and this has yet to get the panel liner. All right, and so I've got half the wheels done, but that's just me. Now, if you like to have that real shiny look, like it's in a showroom, by all means, build your model that way. The one thing about this hobby is it's very subjective. It depends on what makes you happy. It depends on what kind of look you're going for. This is simply the look that I go for quite often, is a look that takes away that real bright, shiny, toyish look. Okay, with the panel liner, if you use this, I would suggest shaking that up real well. Now, I have a shaker right over here that I use. Hang on, let me move this a little bit. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, shaker right here. You just open this up. I know my hand's in the way, and my bench is a mess today. If you're going to put this in the shaker, something this big, I would suggest just putting your hand on top of it, okay? And this will shake it up real well. All right, now this shaker, I love it. And I'm going to show you in 1 second. Okay. If you use something this big in that shaker and you don't put your hand on it, what will happen is it starts to go up. in this little claw here to go up, and then eventually it'll fling it out across the room. So, but for bottles like this, okay, it'll fit in there perfectly. You don't have to put your hand on it. Anything similar to this size, Tamiya, or anything like that will fit in there perfectly. You don't have to put your hand on it. If you're going to do something a little bit bigger, like Createx, for example, okay, yeah, you'd have to put your hand on top of that. Or Mission models, okay. Again, put your hand on top of it. So if you're working with something larger, yeah, just put your hand on top of it, and it'll shake everything up real well. But the smaller jars that I just showed you, you don't have to worry about putting your hand on there, and this will shake it up really very well. The other thing that I use for stirring up my paints is this little stir, and I think I've showed this in previous videos. This is a Badger mixer, and this was really inexpensive. I think really inexpensive. I think it was like $10 or $15 or something like that. It has a little daisy wheel on the end, and goes right down to the bottom of the jar or the bottle, whatever it is you're mixing up, and it mixes it completely. The one nice thing about using this over the Badger mixer that I just showed you is, of course, if you use the Badger mixer, you have to clean that up, whereas with this mixer, you do not. Okay, so that's my little speech about mixers. All right, let's take a look at these aluminum wheels now. They look aluminum now instead of toy plastic-like. And I am putting on just a tiny little bit of panel liner, and this has a capillary action, which means it seeps into all the little areas and so forth. Now it looks like I'm flooding this and using too much. So what I do is I actually put in more than what I want to use. Okay, you see that puddle down there? All right, so then I will take, like I said, the grandchildren have been down here and my Q-tips are almost gone, but I got one or two left here. So, okay, and I will take my Q-tip and just dab that. Okay, and it will help to absorb that. Whoop, it just took off. Okay, I got it clipped on here and just took off. Hang on. I'm going to have to pause this because I don't know where it went. Hang on. Okay, it took me a couple of minutes to find that. It's, and again, you experienced guys will know what I'm talking about when I say the carpet monster. And what I mean by that, for some of you who are not real experienced, the carpet monster is the carpet that's directly below your workbench. So if you drop something that seemingly goes straight down, expecting to find it directly below where it fell, that's not the case. I have lost things and found them many feet away, and when you've got a whole bunch of junk underneath your workbench and so forth, that means it can end up underneath things in a way that you would never think it would be able to worm its way and get under. But again, for some of you folks that are model builders on a regular basis, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you can drop an aircraft carrier right here, and you look underneath the workbench, and it's gone. It's the Bermuda Triangle right underneath here. Let me zoom this out a little bit. I think I'm in too tight. Okay, there we go. All right. So anyway, back to this. There's my panel liner on there. Okay, now you can always, and you see the difference. Okay, this one does not have the panel liner yet. Panel liner, no panel liner. All right, and you can play with this. I mean, you can add a little bit, and take a look at it. In fact, what I might even do is I might even right up in here is a little. There we go. Right up in here, there's a little too much. So I'll play with that with a cotton swab to remove some of that. And if you're working on this, You can simply take a little bit of water sometimes and go over this. And worst case scenario, if the water is just not getting it, this will take it right out, right, on a cotton swab. But that's what I used here. Get rid of this. That's what I used here on the door paneling. Okay, that's all done with the panel liner, the black panel liner. Okay, and what I will tell you about this, because I've had some people ask me, when you dab this on with the brush, again, that capillary action, it'll just run, it'll walk right down that seam, right? But when you dab it on, you have a little bit of a glob of black right on your paint, all right? So how do you deal with that? Well, wait until after you put the 2K clear on, all right? Because after the 2K clear is on, then your paint is sealed. And then you can go in and just, what I use is a Mr. Clean little magic eraser, this is called, and I cut off little pieces from the bigger sponge, and you just dip this in a little bit of water, and then you can go back up and just go over this, and it won't smear. All right. If you do not have 2K clear on here and you're working with lacquer paint, for example, or acrylic, and you come up with something like this, it may smear on the paint and make a mess. But once the 2K clear is on here, your paint is sealed. So that's how you can come up with something like a Mr. Or Magic Eraser by Mr. Clean. And then you can just go over that. And for the most part, it will not suck the black out of the seam. All right. Enamel paint, by the way, does seal. I have not gone over that procedure. I just showed you with enamel paint. Theoretically, it should be able to remove those blotches just on its own. Because again, enamel will seal, whereas lacquer and acrylic will not. And that's why you put your 2K clear on there. It will seal the paint and, of course, gives you a nice shine. So, all righty. We're actually getting pretty close to ending this up on the body and so forth. And next video, I'm hoping to be over at the build bench, and we'll start assembling this. I'll be working on the interior and so forth. So there's not a whole lot to do on this car. I mean, right now it looks like it because nothing's assembled, but the all the painting and detailing and so forth is done. So it's just a matter of slapping it all together. So, all right. So that is going to do it for this week's video. And please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, and you can hit that little bell that's down there, and you'll be notified when I upload a video. I try to upload one video a week. I try my best to do that. So please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up or thumbs down. And leave me a comment, and you can always go and leave a comment at my Facebook page. My Facebook page is Papa's Model Workshop, and you can also shoot me an email at papasmodelworkshop@gmail.com, and I will read and respond to anything that you may want to share with me. Okay, and also, hang on, I said, I mentioned last week we're going to do a word of the day. So here's today's word of the day. Word of the day for this video is admonish. Admonish, okay? And that's not a terribly hard word, so you probably know what that means. But if you don't, I'm not going to tell you what it means. You're going to have to look it up, okay? So that's today's word of the day. So this is the Sunday before Thanksgiving. This video probably won't be uploaded until just after Thanksgiving. So if I upload it before Thanksgiving, then I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And if this gets uploaded the day after Thanksgiving, I usually upload on Fridays. So if I upload this on the Friday after Thanksgiving, then I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm doing this on Sunday because yesterday, you know, my video day is, as I said, on Saturdays, but yesterday I had to go over and help my son out with a project at his house. So I'm in here on Sunday doing the video and working on the Mustang. So, all right. So, folks, happy Turkey Day, and don't eat too much, don't drink too much, and enjoy your Thanksgiving. All right. I'll see you next time.